How to buy real estate without money. Things can be challenging if you're an investor who doesn't have a healthy sum of money on your hands. Regardless of being an investor, things are even harder when you're a new investor. When you don't have money on your own, it becomes difficult to carry out investments, and an asset as significant as real estate always requires money. But even if you don't have money in this regard, you don't need to panic, because we will bring ways by which you can buy real estate without money. Of course, these are the methods which you should be using if you don't have money. If you have money to invest, but you're not using it, that is simply making things harder for yourself. So, without any further ado, let's discuss how we can buy real estate without having money. Number 1. Purchasing through seller financing. The first and foremost way you can invest your money in real estate without having any money is by seller financing. When it becomes difficult for buyers to secure a loan from different financial institutions, they can opt for real estate financing from different sellers. Using this method, buyers will provide sellers with cash to gain property ownership. This is done using the conventional way of real estate transactions. While having a purchase money mortgage, the seller will extend finances to the buyer. The buyer will then repay the money to the sellers for the items that were agreed upon. This is how purchasing real estate takes place using seller financing. The following are the benefits of seller financing. You need little or no qualifying, the terms are highly negotiable, credit doesn't come in as a factor here, flexibility can meet needs, and finally, the closing costs are super low, which keeps you at an advantage. Number 2. Lending of money by hard lenders. Money lenders who lend you hard money set fees using points. These points range from 3 to 5, and they represent an upfront percentage-based fee that is added to the borrowed amount. These lenders are people that offer loans in the shorter term protected by real estate. The catch with these lenders is that their only interest is investment deals, and they are not finding someone who would like to purchase a house in which they would want to live. The best thing about this kind of lender is that these people approve the money to be given quickly. And we're talking pretty quick here, which is in terms of days. This is precisely the reason why several investors in real estate make use of this source. This method is quick, and the turnaround is supposedly relatively easy. Number 3. Private money lenders. Now, you might be thinking, what is the difference between private and money lenders who deal with hard cash? Private money is something that can come from anyone that is looking to have a good return on their investment. This could be a friend, relative, acquaintance, or even an entrepreneur. This is where the difference is. Hard money lenders are usually people who have already established themselves as lenders. Plus, it could also be a firm that lends you the money in this case. You can get money for a money lender that gives you money privately, even if you don't have a good credit score. You can keep the terms competitive if you like, which will make the terms of your deal more valuable to the lender than your credit score. As for lenders who lend private money, they don't abide by certain rules, so all the other terms can be negotiated. Lastly, since the cash being used is from the lender's pocket, then they are the ones who decide whether they should be running your credit or not. Number 4. Partnership. Many people are interested in pursuing real estate ventures and would be more than willing to use their credit to carry out investment deals. So, why not look to plant the seeds of partnership? You can strike a partnership with people willing to work together with you. That someone is a person who has positive credit, which will make it possible for you to tie down more money for your deals. It's an entirely win-win situation. If you are short of funds, it is time to partner up with people who have good credit and can secure your funding. Since it's a give-and-take situation, you'll need to give your partner something they lack. Number 5. Wholesaling. Wholesaling is one of the most common first steps for investors who are new to the real estate business, and this includes some of our viewers here as well. This approach doesn't require any funding, so it doesn't affect your credit score. There are so many real estate investors who wholesale to build capital. In it, a wholesaler sells property on behalf of the owner to get a profit. The wholesaler and the seller eventually enter a contract stating that the wholesaler will sell to another buyer. The wholesaler doesn't end up purchasing the property. The agreement says that the owner gives the wholesaler complete rights to sell the profit while keeping the property for themselves. A good wholesale deal could get you $5,000, $10,000, or more if you do it right. A quick reminder, if you've enjoyed the video so far, consider subscribing, as we frequently upload such informative and educational videos. Let's continue. Number 6. Leasing options. Leasing is a great way if you're working out ways to invest money in real estate without having any. It is a suitable option for owners of property who are willing to sell their property but aren't in a rush. In the leasing option, the landlord is willing to sell his property but not immediately. Meanwhile, the tenant pays the down payment and monthly rent for the time of his stay in the residence. During the end of the leasing period, the landlord manages to score a sale on his hands. Without needing a considerable sum of money, the tenant manages to get property ownership without having a large sum of money. Number 7. House hacking. The name says it all. This is a strategy that allows investors the ability to make use of an advantageous situation. This strategy sees investors' healthy income off rentals when renting out their primary residences. People who have homes of multiple units can choose to rent out the unoccupied units. This way, the generated rent will help to pay for the mortgage. This will allow the property's owner to spend their time living in that property free of a mortgage. People living in homes for single families might look to rent themselves bedrooms if it suits them. Whatever they go for, house hacking is a method that gives investors the advantage to reduce the vacancy risk. Number 8. Government loans. Out of all the options you can work on to buy real estate, government loans are probably one of the best-known sources available that can fund this venture of yours. You can opt for several government loans, and you're probably familiar with most of them. So, choosing them as a funding option for your real estate investment makes a lot of sense. However, one thing that is important to note regarding government loans is that these loans are not entirely suited for fixing up homes for quick profits. With each kind of loan, there comes a complication that the investor needs to keep in mind. Almost all government loans take several months to go through the approval process, so you might have to wait a long time before you get any government loans approved. However, some loans allow you to look at a more flexible option, especially if you carry out your first purchase of a primary rental residence. This is why it is known as the go-to method when investing in real estate. Credit and requirements for down payments also become more flexible when purchasing a residence. Number 9. Microloans. As the person-to-person economy continues to mold the real estate investment business, microloans will always remain a suitable option for several investors. Investors give these loans as opposed to banks and credit unions. These are a branch of investment that makes it possible for several people to invest their money in real estate. These loans are usually issued by a single lender or several investors who are expected to pitch into the loan as per the borrower's requirement. The best thing about microloans is that it is offered at a low interest. This means that the amount the borrower will return will be more or less near to the amount which was asked for. This will also mean that the borrower will be able to pay off the loan quicker than usual. Number 10. Real Estate Investment Trust, or REIT. REITs are another fantastic way for you to start investing in real estate. Instead of carrying out the purchase of properties by yourself, there is a chunk of investors who develop or manage properties. Using this way, REITs become similar to the concept of stocks while allowing investors to reap all the benefits of real estate. This is a fantastic way for several investors to get a passive income without needing to purchase one or multiple properties all by themselves. The investment burden is immediately lessened on a single investor using this method. Number 11. The Burr Technique. The Burr Technique is defined as B. Buy, R. Rehab, R. Rent, R. Refinance, R. Repeat. Using this strategy, you will be able to use loans to secure that first property that you require. The major point is you will be able to refinance your property and then use its money to get a second property on your hands, and so on. This is another reliable way by which you can carry out real estate investment without any money. Limited means should not mean that you cannot invest in real estate. This is something that shouldn't be set in stone. With so many convenient options available for you, more paths will open up when you get into the solutions mentioned above. Of course, we would recommend you to go for options such as lending as your last option, but if it does come down to you lending money, then you can have that as your last option. There is no harm in lending money from someone if you believe you're making the right real estate decision with your money. There are multiple ways you can put to use to get profits off of real estate, and that too without having money. We've told you 11 ways to do so, and these ways are entirely legit. So, what are you waiting for? It is time to start making money off of real estate.